Okay, on this adventure, we're going to take a quick trip down the California coast. But in order to get there, first we've got to get all the way from Albuquerque, New Mexico, through Barstow, and finally into the California coast. I must say, I was shocked, to say the least, to find my wife two-timing me in the Barstow Route 66 Museum. So, needless to say, we got it out of there real quick. And our first view of Morro Bay was of the Morro Rock, that is. It stands alone in the bay. It's a volcanic plug out there in the bay. And during our trip there, I just kind of walked around there, parked at the base of the rock, and started seeing all these different little rock cairns. And then finally, one after another, more and more, and just hundreds of them. And it was really fascinating to see all the tourists stacking the rocks as they've done probably for decades and decades before we got there. Really quite interesting. We really enjoyed Morro Rock, and it was just so cool to be out there. But I tell you what, Robin had one thing on her mind, and it was quilts and quilt shops. And so while she found the first quilt shop in Morro Bay, I went out on a little urban hike, and I bought this house, which was about $1 million, with $1 million view of Morro Rock in the background. And then I thought, well, why stop there? Let's get another house. So I bought another $1 million house. Nah, not really. Found this cool little trail out behind our Best Western in San Luis Obispo. So it's about 6:30 in the morning. Robin's still sleeping, so I thought, let me go out for a little run or a little hike. And sure enough, beautiful area, somewhat flat compared to Sandia Mountains territory, but beautiful nonetheless. So I'm gonna circle this lake over here and hear the geese or the duck or the waterfowl squawking in the distance. Talk to you later. So after my run down in San Luis Obispo, I thought, okay, well, let's drive down to Pismo Beach. We did a lot of driving that day, actually. This particular walk, right there on the wooden pier, it was beautiful. Lots of great sights. We actually ate at this little pier-side diner, outside diner, actually, and had some real good food. Great view of the ocean. A little chilly, but hey, that's okay. Here we're just enjoying our morning lunch or morning breakfast there. And of course, she found quilt shop number 2. And while she did that, I found my coffee shop and spent the morning there. The next stop up was Santa Barbara. This was actually the next day. And man, we had a great time. We went down to the pier there, Fisherman's Wharf, and we used to live in this area, but this is Stearns Wharf. Had a nice drive out on the wharf and parking on the wharf, and then finally walking around there. enjoyed a beautiful breakfast as well. Wait, quilt shop number 3 or 4, I lost count. I think this was winter chicken dinner for Robin. She came out all smiles. And then finally the Santa Monica Pier. This was actually our first time on the pier. Had a good time. And as we wrapped up our time on the Santa Monica Pier, we kept on heading down to finally Huntington Beach, which was my old stomping ground. I grew up in Huntington Beach. Quickly located our hotel right there on Pacific Coast Highway. And this is a room tour.
That's
excellent, nice little room. And then after the room, we settled down for some coffee, and then visiting with Robin's mom, Vel, and here you can see that they're showing off their bling rings. And then finally, a nice sunset dinner on Pacific Coast Highway on Main Street, and the day before the big race tomorrow. Yeah, so the great race for tomorrow is indeed the Surf City Half Marathon, the sole reason for us coming out on this trip. The morning of the race, we're doing one last walkthrough of our beautiful room. You can see that suitcase right there will be a problem.
There is a balcony.
But in the meantime, the final walkthrough of the room was great.
Here.
You can see the harbor in the balcony of the room. Just a great little room.
So we've got a couple of chairs to sit in, and we have a view of the rest of the harbor. Look at
Yeah, that stupid suitcase. While picking it up, I ended up throwing my back out, and it jeopardized the whole race. I was in agony. So stay tuned for next week to find out on whether I even started it, ran it, finished it, what the results were. And as usual, thumbs up, like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want, comment down below. Let me know what you think of this video. Until next week, I'll talk to you later.